Sup, everyone? Darkscream here, and guess who's back from the dead?
I am. Yay.
Magus is back, everyone. By the way, I'm into Gundam now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've noticed and I've seen you on PSN playing a Gundam game. And yeah, you never used to be big in Gundam.
Here's the thing. When I grew up, of course, being from that Toonami era, the early 2000s, I was introduced to Gundam like most people through Gundam Wing, which I don't know who said it in the comments section, but I was looking up one of the one of the intros to that show, and somebody said that Gundam Wing is the Final Fantasy VII of Gundam. And I don't think he means it in a positive way, but yeah, I was exposed to the franchise through Gundam Wing like most people in my demographic.
I don't know if it's the Final Fantasy VII. I don't care if that guy meant it good or bad. I'll tell you why. One, I think Gundam Wing's popularity has gone down tremendously.
It has, yes.
Yeah. So the difference is Final Fantasy VII is still popular. You know, there's even a possible vaporware remake out there. So what I'm saying is Final Fantasy VII is popular and it's actually good, and Gundam Wing is not good and its popularity has sunk down. Because if you remember, I did a review of Gundam Wings years ago on my channel.
Which, do you have that backed up, by the way? I know you cleaned out your YouTube channel. You said you backed up some of your videos, but I don't know if that was one of them.
Well, the anime reviews are a different beast. A lot of them, their audio or just outright got blocked in the United States.
Oh.
Because I used to use full clips in my anime reviews.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah, and a lot of them got blocked.
No, damn, that sucks.
Yeah, so there you go. But I do remember what I did say in that video, and I will tell you this. That fucking anime is so goddamn preachy that there's no character development really, that everyone it's always pacifism versus the necessity of war. It's just blah and on and blah fucking blah.
Yeah, well, so when I did watch Gundam Wing a little bit, I liked it, but it wasn't like in my top 5 favorite Toonami shows with Tenchi and Outlaw Star and whatnot. They did started pushing more and more Gundam series afterwards. They decided to bring out the original Universal Century 0079 Gundam series. Mm-hmm. I didn't really care much for it at the time because I was like a stupid kid who thought, oh, that old anime, that's bad. Which my tastes are completely different. I think old anime is way better than some of the current shit that's coming out today.
Agree.
Oh God! Like, I do not care for Goblin Slayer all that much, and people are throwing up.
That?
It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy anime that is trying to be like the next Berserk or something, but it's really not that gory. And it had a rape scene at episode 1, which got everyone in Twitter throwing a fucking hissy fit. And because of that, I decided, I don't really give a lot of new shows a chance while they're on the air. I'll watch that first episode, and I'm like, dude, I grew up watching stuff from Manga Entertainment, Mad Bull 34 and all that crap. You think I'm going to be horrified by this? You must be new anime fans out there or something. But anyways, I did not watch 0079. I did, however, watch 8th MS Team, and I loved the shit out of that. One of the ads that stuck to me was they showed this one dude piloting a Gouf, and he takes a dagger and stabs it down a tank, and I don't know if it's oil or blood splattering all over its face, but they actually used that in the commercials for Toonami. It was,
oh wow,
yeah, that stuck to me pretty hard. Then there was G Gundam, which the debatability on whether or not that's a Gundam series is up for discussion. Whether or not it's a Gundam series, I love it for how stupid it is.
Okay, I got something to say here. I love G Gundam.
You do?
Yes, I do. And it is a Gundam series. It's its own take on a Gundam series. And I will say it's more of a real Gundam than Gundam Wing will ever be. You know why? Because there was actual character development in that show, as ridiculous as it was. Which Gundam Wing didn't. It was just like, oh, let's just be peaceful or let's have war. G Gundam was a fighting game version of Gundam. And you know what was the cool thing about it, Billy?
What?
And I'll tell you what the cool fucking thing about it was. The main villain in the end was an actual Gundam.
Yes, they called it the Dark
The
Gundam, but I believe in Japan, I think it was called the Death Gundam or the Devil Gundam. Devil Gundam, that's what it was.
it's the Devil Gundam in Japan. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But then I kind of phased out. I saw some of Gundam Seed. I did not like what I saw there. The mecha designs were kind of meh, and the character designs were bleh. And I just kind of ignored the French. Well, I've heard from grapevines and from my friends saying stuff that, oh, Gundam Double O, that's great. Gundam Unicorn, that's great. Iron Blood Orphans, that's also great. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, okay, I'll take your word for it. I'll move on. But something happened a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
My friend tried to get me into this other series, this other Gundam series that most fans may hate just as much as G Gundam, if not more. Magus, have you ever heard of Gundam Build Fighters?
No, I have not.
Okay, get ready for this. It's an anime where Gundam is a meta series in that universe. That's how Gundam is treated there. And in that series, people love Gunpla. You know what Gunpla is, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay, Gunpla is the abbreviation for Gundam and plastic. They're basically the plastic model kits. You should know those. They're kind of the marketing driving force for the franchise.
Right.
Well, in that series, people use Gunplas on these highly advanced sci-fi machines to duke it out in competitive battles.
Huh.
It is basically the Gundam equivalent of Angelic Layer or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or any of those little children's battle shows.
Yeah.
I fucking love that show. I just finished watching the first season. Before that, I was watching the third season, which was Build Divers, which take the same premise, turn it into an MMORPG. It's still currently on debate whether or not that show was good or not. I had fun watching it, whatever. But Gundam Build Fighters is like the best in that department.
See, I'm not even familiar with those. I didn't even know those were out existed until you told me at this very moment. Good
Well,
sir.
it's probably because they came out in this decade, and I know you don't play catch up with this decade in anime. You're not missing a whole much. But Gundam Build Fighters is a great show. I would actually recommend you watching it. It's funny. It doesn't take itself too seriously most of the time. There's some fan service there. There's a character in that show that's based off of one of the characters from the original series, Rambo Ral. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, he's just simply known as. Sorry about that. Something people are reacting to something I shared, which is Gundam related, by the way. Somebody made like the most American looking Gunpla ever, and I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, there's a character in that show that's based off of Rambo Ral. His name is Mr. Ral, and he's kind of like the audience surrogate for the older demographic and stuff. It's a great show. You can actually find it officially on YouTube. There's a YouTube channel called Gundam Info, and that channel is actually being used to upload both subs and dubs of various Gundam shows. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them. They
Whoa,
have.
Whoa. You said they're okay. Are they an official channel?
Yes.
Okay. I have to ask just simply because the whole copyright thing. So
it'll be weird if they get hit with copyright because that's their bread and butter.
Okay.
I know Bandai pulled out from DVD distribution in anime about, I want to say like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, but since then Sunrise has been giving rights to the website Right Stuff and Nozomi Entertainment for Blu-ray and DVD distribution of various shows. They have a bunch of shows that didn't even get released here, like Turn A Gundam and Gundam X, available now.
Let me add something too. On Hulu, they have several, at least last I checked, Gundam series.
Yes, they do. I had to get Hulu in order to continue watching the Gundam series I plan on reviewing.
What series is that?
Well, I was going to keep it a secret, but I'm going to say, well,
no. Don't say it.
Oh, no, but I kind of want to gush about it at the same time.
Okay.
It's Gundam The Origin. Have you seen that yet?
Gundam, no, I have not seen that.
Oh, it's great. It's an OVA series. It's 6 episodes, but it's like it will take you like several hours because each episode is like an hour long, except for the last two, which are about 90 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's great. It's basically a prequel chronicling Shar Aznabul's backstory.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's real cool.
it
Okay,
is.
real quick. So this is what they got on Hulu. They got Gundam Wing, our favorite Gundam. They've got Gundam Seed Remaster, your favorite Gundam.
God damn it.
Mobile Suit Gundam 00, which I want to talk about in a little bit.
Double O. Okay.
Yeah. Mobile Gundam, the eighth something.
Eighth MS Team. That was the show I was talking about. Or that's actually a show I really like.
Okay. Mobile Suit Gundam, the origin, of course. Mobile Suit Gundam UC, Unicorn.
I've actually just recently finished watching the TV cut of Unicorn.
How is Unicorn?
Really good, but they play up the new type shit up to 11 in that series. You know what new types are?
No clue.
Okay, so see, when the colonists moved away from Earth, there was this guy named Zeon Zoom Daikum who talked about how humans can evolve if they were traveled to beyond space, you know, where people will have a bigger understanding of each other and stuff. And they basically kind of get psychic powers, maybe. Those are the new types in the Universal Century timeline.
Okay.
And Unicorn doubles downs on that. And whether or not people are okay with it is debatable. But it's still a great show. I loved it. It's basically like it's almost like, from what I've heard, it's almost like how Macross Frontier is to the original Macross, where it's like they have similar story beats, but they're still different enough to have their own identity.
And they're in the same universe.
Yeah, that too. It's like what The Force Awakens could have been.
All right, let's not talk about that.
Actually, I should talk about that a little bit because I think people, in order to help understand why I got more and more involved with the Gundam franchise.
Oh, yeah. You told me this. Okay, yeah, this is important. Let me say one thing. I hate The Force Awakens. It's trash. The end. You go ahead.
Okay. So, I'm a sci-fi aficionado. Yeah, it was strange for me to ignore the Gundam franchise as a whole. I don't know why I did that.
Right.
But I gotta find me a new sci-fi series to hang on to. And Gundam has its ups and downs, but seems to still keep on trucking. They have nothing that would like ultimately destroy their brand. They're kind of like Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, where they would have like different generational shows that are either in the main timeline or some alternate universe BS. So there's a lot to look for in that franchise now. I had a second reason, but I can't remember what it is. But because I had this scripted up in my review. But the third reason is, I give up on Star Wars.
Yeah,
that used to be one of my favorite sci-fi franchises when I was a kid. I'd play all the video games, watch the movies. Even back when I was a kid, I enjoyed the prequels. Now, when I got older and I realized that the prequels weren't that good, my hype for Star Wars kind of waned to like tempered expectations. And I was willing to see if it could bring back that love and joy. And they almost did it. Then The Last Jedi happened. Then the aftermath of The Last Jedi happened. And at that point, all joy, all hope for that franchise just flatlined. I was like, fuck this. Let's take a look at this one series with the giant robots.
Yeah, well, just to add, I think there are so many other science fiction universes, and non-anime ones too, that are so much better, like, the Dune universe or the Star Trek universe, or...
Well, Star Trek is having a lot... New Star Trek is actually having a lot of similar problems too. Like, I've heard Discovery is a trash fire.
But we'll see how the new Picard series is, which I'm looking forward to, but I'm also a little scared for. But we'll see.
You should be when you find out who's staffed to work on it, but I'm not going to go into details on that just yet. Also, like, my tastes and the second point I put down was my taste in anime and things have just gone through a paradigm shift. I used to hate political backstories in most shows, and Gundam had a lot of those heavily.
Mm-hmm.
Now I fucking can't enjoy a series without it, and which is why I'm into that, as well as Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I don't know if you
Yeah.
heard about. Yeah, I've only got 5 episodes in. I know I'm in for a long haul because it's like 110 episodes, not including movies and spin-offs, and I believe there's a prequel that's also on the streaming service I'm watching it on.
No, gotcha.
Oh yeah, it's a big ass franchise there too, but it's good so far. But yeah, now I really love all that backstory shit. I love the debates of Federation versus Xeon. I'm a Xeon supporter, by the way.
And maybe that's why we're not too big on whatchamacallit, Gundam Wing, because Gundam Wing didn't really have a lot of backstory to it.
You almost forgot the name of the show. That's how much you hate it.
Yeah. Look. Gundam Wing was the first Gundam, but I'll be honest, I had a hard time watching it even back then. The first time I actually watched it, this is something a lot of people don't know. The first time I actually watched it in its entirety was when I did that review on my YouTube channel about a decade ago.
Okay. Like, I remember one particular clip, and I believe it was from the first episode, but it was actually the first thing I ever saw in that series. I didn't have Toonami at the time. The cable service that I had didn't offer it, but my friend's house had it, and I saw the scene where, Hero tears up the invitation, and the woman's like, "Why?" And then he fucking wipes a tear, and he says, "I'll kill you."
Oh yeah.
That was like the thing that stuck in my mind. I was like, "What the fuck is with this bipolar dude?" And that was like out of context and shit.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing. Like, the thing about Gundam Wing was all of the 5 main characters, they all had like these what seemed like diverse backgrounds, right?
Right.
Like one was the kid in the desert with like the servants and shit, and then you had Hero the loner, and then you had the guy who's the god of death, and you had the kung fu guy and somebody else that I can't remember. But that's how forgettable the show is. My point is, they never developed them. They never went into their backstories. They never did anything. All they did was bitch about war and bitch about peace. That's about it.
The guy that you're forgetting about, is it Troa or Quatre?
I don't remember.
Okay, because the only reason why I know at least 2 of those characters is because their designs inspired a couple Street Fighter characters.
I gotcha. Gundam 00, which I've seen a couple episodes, and I need to really watch it. I liked it. I liked what I saw Gundam 00. Have you seen Gundam 00?
No, but the more I hear about it, the more I do want to see it.
Now, I know it's set in its own timeline.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like, it's Gundam, but it's supposed to be set in modern day, so in our timeline.
Yeah.
But we also have war and giant robots and shit.
That would be cool. Well, not the war, but the giant robots.
Yeah, that was a thing. That was something I talked about for like 5 years ago. Multifire, we did some first impressions of some anime we watched, and Multifire talked about Gundam Reconquista in G, which is a weird title.
Okay.
Now, this show is one of the more hated Gundam shows, despite the fact that Yoshiyuki Tomino worked on it.
Okay.
And it's hated because nobody knows what the hell is going on. Like, he doesn't properly explain or exposit a whole lot of information. But what was hilarious about Reconquista, first off, Multifire, he called the series in Japanese is G no Reconquista, so they kind of switched it up. Multifire likes to nickname the show G no Me Gusta.
Okay.
And I've rambled so long and long, I forgot what the point I was talking about. We were talking about Gundam 00. And it was set. Oh yeah, I told him that the reason why I couldn't get into most of these Gundam shows was like how semi-hypocritical their stance on war is. Because I say this because they do a good job portraying how shitty war can get. But look how cool those fucking robots are.
Right.
I want to buy one. And that's the weird conflicting thing about that franchise as a whole.
Yeah. Well, most giant robots look cool. Most.
Yeah, I will admit I do like
Most.
Gundam Death Sights, the design from Wing.
Now, I have a question for you, my friend.
Yeah, what's that?
What? Let's. I don't want much, but I'm just curious. What do you think of Gundam video games?
Mixed bag. Like most video games based off of anime. You get some that are really good, you got some that are bad, and you got some that you wish would come over to the fucking States. We'll get to that later on.
For well, for me, real quick. One of my earliest exposures to Gundam was in the year 2000. I had a Dreamcast back in those days, and yeah, I was 17 back in those days, 2000. It was a game for the Dreamcast called Gundam Side Story 0079,
Okay,
Rise from the Ashes.
okay. It sounds like one of those 0079 1 year war side stories like 8th MS Team and Thunderbolt, which is
Yeah.
another recent Gundam show. And I don't know if it's still on Gundam Info's website. They said they were going to put it up on limited time, but if it's still there, you should give that a watch too.
Oh, I definitely will. I definitely will.
It's dark as hell, but it's fucking entertaining.
From what I remember of this game, though, this Gundam Side Story, just real quick, I remember it was a different mech, and it wasn't necessarily a Gundam. And I remember it wasn't a very long game, but it was a lot of fun, though.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know how well it aged.
Well, the earliest game I've played Gundam-wise was Battle Assault 2, which I'm pretty sure they designed that just for the Western audience because Gundam Wing and G Gundam were pushed at the front. I actually played that game recently, a couple weeks ago. My friend still has a copy for it on his PS1.
Did you play the Gundam Wing? Now, there is one good thing that did come from Gundam Wing real quick. That reminded me. The Gundam Wing Super Famicom fighting game.
No, I have not played that.
Okay, that's pretty decent.
I'm probably going to have to play that on an emulator or something because
yeah.
It's definitely not on my SNES Classic. There are two Gundam games I played recently. One dog shit, the other fucking greats, and they're both kind of on the same line as Build Fighters. New Gundam Breaker, which was the Gundam Breaker game that came out for the States, was terrible because they were working on a new engine that they weren't fully familiar with, and it was entirely made up of a staff that is a bunch of fucking rookies that had no experience developing the earlier games. And it showed the minute I played that game on launch. It was just terrible. It was a clunker. The controls didn't feel right. It would like freeze lag for a few seconds, single player, during single player events. The stages weren't that diverse. The story mode is your typical dating sim bullshit, and it's all the same path, which is to overthrow this oppressive student council. But the only difference is which waifu are you going to be paired up with this time? And that's a difference it got. Collecting parts to build, and that's the thing that should sell this game is you can customize your gunpla however the fuck you want. You can like give it parts of a Zaku, parts of a freaking Act guy, and then you can paint it up. And the customization for the most part is pretty deep, but the gameplay just ain't worth it. And they've been trying to damage control and patch it. Dude, the reviews on Amazon and Amazon Japan, 1 stars across the board.
Holy shit.
Yeah, everyone says this game sucks. Just play Gundam Breaker 3. So I decided to order Gundam Breaker 3 Break Edition, which is all the DLC, off of PlayAsia, because they have a version. They have a version of the game that's completely translated in English, and I haven't found a whole lot of crazy problems with the localization. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, they should have just brought this game out originally. This is fun.
And PS4 is what? Region free.
Yeah. You can play the game on PS4 region free, which I have. And I've even played the game. The game has a multiplayer feature. You can play the story missions together. And I believe it is up to 4 players. I'm not sure. Maybe 3. The only criticism I have for that game is that it's super repetitive. You got to go in there with a beat 'em up mindset. because every game is like, okay, fight through waves of enemy Gundams. There's a few sub bosses here. Here's a boss. Mission complete. Here's your loot. Here's your earnings. All that shit. Do you want to keep it all, or do you want to sell them? Rinse, lather, repeat. They try to mix it up with like core destruction and monolith destruction, but it still comes down to the same thing, and that is just destroy a fuck ton of enemies. But the gameplay itself is pretty solid. I mean, you can even like customize your own Gundam combos and shit.
Well, if it's fun destroying a fuck ton of enemies, what's wrong with that?
Well,
right?
It is fun, but like I said, the missions are also pretty much longer than they should be, but by like a smidge. But yeah, it is still pretty fun. I still go back to it. I still like to play the game, beat up some bad guys, customize my gunpla, customize its weapons, its skills. You can even like give it extra accessories like funnels and bazookas and extra guns and all that stuff. It's nuts. I love it. And you know, a game where customization is that deep should appeal to a more mainstream audience.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that I don't know. That sounds well. Customization's all over the place in games now. Look at all the fighters. You know, Tekken 3 and no, not Tekken 3, Tekken 7, Soul Calibur 6, things like that.
Yeah. Also, games brought to you by Bandai Namco. They see the customization Soul Calibur 6, but they can't see the same kind of train of logic with Gundam. Give me a break.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at even Tales of Berseria. I'm playing through that, and you know, you've always been able to have costumes, but now you could put on more accessories than you could in older Tales games.
Oh, that's good. I still need to get through that game.
Yeah, it's a good game. But with that said, let me ask you another question. What do you think of the Super Robot Wars games? This is Gundam related to a major degree.
Yes, it is. I need to pick one of those up. I want to say there are some Asia English subtitle ones that you can import for either PS4 or Vita. Mm-hmm. Maybe the Switch, because Switch is region free too, and I have that.
Let's see if there's any for Switch. I don't really know.
No, but there should be.
Is there?
I haven't checked recently. Mostly I saw was PS4 and Vita. But I do love the ideas and the concepts, because I know crossovers have been they've gotten bug nuts recently, because they're like, hey, let's put Noctis in Tekken 7. Now let's put Negan from The Walking Dead.
That came out of nowhere. Yeah, that came out of fucking nowhere.
Despite the fact that guys like me want Kiryu in the game, but okay, whatever.
Yeah, Kiryu makes more sense than fucking Negan, though.
Yeah, it does. And Yakuza is rising in popularity. This would have been the perfect opportunity to put him in there.
But then again, this is the same company that put Vader and Yoda in goddamn Soul Calibur 4. And let's not forget Link and fucking Spawn in Soul Calibur 2. So there you go. This dates back many, many years, these bizarre Namco throw-in characters.
But Super Robot Wars was kind of the OG in that, because they would just bring in not just Gundam, but Macross, Big O in one of the games. The Big O, Martian Successor, Nadesico, almost anything you can think of, whether it's Super Robot or Real Robot. And I've been wanting to play those games because I heard they do like weird fanfic-esque retellings of certain story modes in games and shit.
Right.
And I know there's one Super Robot Wars games that does a better version of Nadesico Prince of Darkness than the actual movie.
Fuck.
And I really just want to play the hell out of that. Somebody got English translation of that game.
So I'm looking it up, and the series has pretty much been on every system except the Switch. And the latest one did come out back in March of this year.
You know, those look appropriate for a Switch game because it is a turn-based tactical RPG.
Oh, they would fit in.
Yeah, it would.
I think the reason we don't get them is all the copyright bullshit.
Yes. Though. Okay. I've only heard this story from TV Tropes, so I need a citation needed on this one.
Okay.
Let's see. But apparently, I was told that we were going to get a Super Robot Wars for the Dreamcast because of the rise of anime during that time.
Right.
And almost every company was down for bringing that IP over. Um, let's see, it was called Super Robot Wars Alpha. Let's see. Okay, I can't look it up right now. It would be wasting too much. Actually, I could just edit that, but okay. We were supposed apparently, and like I said, somebody put this in some trivia section, TV tropes, but I don't have a source of citation, so take it what you
Gotcha.
will. But this doesn't sound like it's outside of the bounds of reality. But Super Robot Wars Alpha was supposed to have an Western release, and everyone was on board bringing over. Can you guess which company wasn't though?
Um, for the Dreamcast, right?
Right. Now think
Sega.
no. Sega was down with that too. Think mecha. Think of a mecha anime that you love very, very much.
Oh, was it Gynex?
No, it's not Evangelion that's against it. Come on. They've been bottlenecking IPs for almost 35 years now.
Oh, fuck. Okay, I know what you're talking
That's
about. Robotech.
Harmony
Yeah.
Gold was the only company that was against it because they thought advertising Macross would distract him from Robotech stuff, even though they haven't made anything in over a decade at the time.
And
And
they
there was,
still haven't made anything for fucking Robotech.
oh God, no, I don't even want to get into that discussion. Maybe another time.
Yeah, we need to talk about that. We need to talk about that because you and I have a little bit of a contentious history with each other on the subject of Macross and Robotech.
Oh,
Unless your opinion has changed,
uh,
for my opinion.
look, here's the thing. I do like the original Robotech series. Everything outside of it, the Sentinels, all that shit. It's either an incomplete mess or it's just bad. Um, I think that series should be dead and buried, and we should just push more Macross. I mean, whether or not the newer stuff is good is it's up for debate. But at least they're still making shit. That's my argument for that. But anyways, yeah. Oh, God, just fuck Harmony Gold.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I actually did a video on them months ago if you can find it on my channel. But anyways, I would like to play one of the Super Robot Wars games. I've been on the fence. I think they're having a Black Friday sale. I should look into that. And I am getting a bonus, so I might pick up the newest one. I forgot what it's called, but I'll pick it up and I'll give it a play.
Super Robot Wars X.
Yeah, I might pick that one up.
PS4, so and Vita.
Now let's go back to the anime things of Gundam.
Okay.
Because I have yet to watch there are a good amount of Gundam shows I have completed watching, and I'm still watching. But I actually haven't watched the TV series of 0079. What I'm doing instead, and I've been told by some fans that this is a better recommendation, I'm watching the compilation films. Because I picked up on Blu-ray the compilation films of the original series, the compilation films for Zeta Gundam, and Char's Counterattack. I heard Double Zeta is actually pretty skippable.
Why is that?
Because it doesn't feature Char and Amuro in the series in that season. They were teased in the opening, but apparently, I think it was Sunrise that gave Tomino the permission to adapt Char's Counterattack as a full-length film. So he decided to save those characters for later. Then I've heard very, very not so nice things about Double Zeta because the series got a little wackier, goofier, and cartoonier because Zeta Gundam was so fucking dark and depressing that it just made it silly. It does get dark again halfway into the series, but like I said, I might watch Double Zeta, but not right now. It's not of priority. But I did watch the first compilation movie of 0079, and it feels like a compilation movie.
Now this Gundam info that you brought up earlier is good. Is Double Zeta, the original series, stuff like that on that Gundam info place?
Okay, Double Zeta's on there, but they haven't remastered the footage. in those versions, so it looks so old and grainy. Unless you actually like that kind of authenticity. Okay,
Oh, I don't mind it.
um, it is kind of nice to chuckle at. But let me just look. They got a whole bunch of shows, old and new. I just go on their playlist and let's see what they got. Let's see. They got Gundam Thunderbolt, Build Divers, Iron Blooded Orphans, some more Thunderbolt. Let's see. Some Build Fighters. There's Double Zeta. There's Build Fighters Tribe, which is the season after Build Fighters. That's something I'm actually in the middle of watching now. It's basically summed up as main character is basically G Gundam. Because his whole shtick is that he's a martial artist. He likes martial arts. He's your typical martial artist, shonen boy. There wasn't a martial arts school at his club, but there was a Gunpla club. He finds a Gunpla that was built by the main character from the previous season that's loosely based off of Burning Gundam. So he basically uses his kung fu, his good kung fu skills, which translates into him as a Gundam fighter.
No.
Yeah. He does have 2 tag team partners though that help him out. One support, one's like a sniper. I'm enjoying it, not as much as Build Fighters, but I'm still loving it. Okay, they got Seed HD remaster. I want to say they had the original Zeta Gundam in there. Well, I can't. All playlist.
Now, let me ask you a question. Why is it so hard to find the original Gundam to watch, but with others? So
I'm not saying it's hard to find. You can pick it up on Blu-ray.
Okay. Like even streaming though.
Probably. Well, I don't know why Gundam Info doesn't put the original 0079 on the channel. I guess. Yeah, it's a good question. It's the original series. Why not put that in everywhere? That's a good question. I can't answer that.
Well, yet we have Gundam Wing.
Jesus.
I'm just saying.
You are not going to let that go.
No, I'm not.
Okay. But yeah, it's on Blu-ray. You can pick that up. But like I said, I'm going for the short haul on this one. I'm watching the film trilogies. And yeah, from what I've seen so far, it definitely feels like a compilation. It feels like a compilation movie. It's so freaking fast-paced. There's so much action and shit going on. And thank God I watched Gundam The Origin, because if I didn't, I probably wouldn't be invested in most of these characters as I am now. Because like in the first film, they introduced Garmazabi, they introduce a little bit of his backstory, and then he fucking dies on that same film. And this is like in the middle of the film too. You know, I would have been like, oh, okay, whatever. But in Gundam The Origin, he does get a little more of him fleshed out as like going into the same military school with Char. They had a frenemy thing going on. Of course, Char doesn't trust him all the way through. This is all part of his elaborate revenge scheme against the Zabi family. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so much Gundam out there, man.
There is, and thank God now I can actually get to watch it and shit.
Well, let's. I think I should do a little research, and I'm going to see how many Gundam TV series there are.
Okay, I'll start counting off the top of my head to see if I can catch up to you.
Okay. Let's see. Mobile Suit Gundam, Zeta, Double Z, SD Gundam. That's a show.
Oh, right. That was on Toonami, by the way.
Yeah, really? Wow.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was for
Gundam,
like 5-year-olds.
Mobile Suit Gundam 0080, Mobile Suit Gundam F91.
That's a film.
Okay. Mobile Suit Victory Gundam.
Oh yeah, Victory Gundam. I heard that show was made to be dark on purpose because Tomino wanted to like make Gundam as unpleasant. Yeah.
Yeah, one of his infamous kill 'em all that he uses in all of his shows.
Yep.
Other than Gundam.
Gundam, Ideon, I believe.
And what's that fantasy one? I reviewed that one. I liked it. I can't believe I forgot the name of it though.
You mean Turne Gundam?
No, Dunbine. Aura Battler Dunbine.
Oh, I saw the first episode of Dunbine.
Yeah, Dunbine's pretty good.
Yeah, but I still don't know what the hell's going on for the most part.
Guy wrecks a motorcycle and ends up in the fantasy world, and there's a fantasy based mech. It was doing fantasy based mech before Escaflowne ever did. So there you go.
Yeah, yeah, and apparently that's a regular occurrence because like two other people also ended up in fucking Bison Well as well.
But then, no spoilers, or well, it is a spoiler, but if it's a Tomino, it's no common knowledge. Everyone dies at the end. So there you go. Yeah.
Everyone died.
And it's one of those ridiculous ones where, like, two guys are fighting their rivals and they stab each other at the same time, and just stupid shit like that.
Oh, it's almost like
that melodramatic, yeah.
Almost the ending of Gundam 0080, which that was something I planned to review originally, but I wanted to start off with a little something stronger. Not that 0080 was bad. It was great, actually, and I'm probably going to watch it again as the holiday season comes to a close because it takes place between Christmas and New Year's. But man, it was a pretty bittersweet ending right there. But what's really funny is that David Hayter voices one of the main characters in that show.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Mobile Suit Victory Gundam.
Yeah.
Mobile Fighter G Gundam. Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. Less said about that. Mobile Suit Gundam, the 8th MS team. After War Gundam X. I'm going to include OVAs, okay?
Okay.
Turn A Gundam. Movie, live action movie, G Savior? What the fuck? Okay.
Oh, I heard about that. We don't talk about that apparently.
Okay. Mobile Suit Gundam Seed.
Yeah.
Superior Defender Gundam Force, never even heard of that. Mobile Suit Gundam MS Igloo, The Hidden One More.
That was like a CG series, I think. I don't know.
Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny. Mobile Gundam MS Igloo Apocalypse 00. Some of these fucking titles, Jesus Christ. Igloo Apocalypse 0079, whatever the fuck that means, that's an OVA. Mobile Suit Gundam Seed, OVA. Mobile Suit Gundam 00, which I like. What I've seen anyway. Mobile Suit Gundam MS. I'm going to skip all this Igloo shit. Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn.
That's the OVA version.
Yeah. Mobile Suit Gunpla Builders Beginning G, OVA. Gundam Suit Gundam H. Gundam Build Fighters, there you go. Mobile Suit Gundam San. TV series. Gundam Reconquista NG, TV series. Gundam Build Fighters Try. Gundam Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin. Wow, 2015 to 2018.
Yeah, well, like I said, they were OVAs. You know how they work. They're sporadic releases. They're kind of like mini movies. The 6th episode just came out like May of this year.
I didn't realize they were still doing OVAs with the way things are these days. It's hard to tell.
The same freaking thing a couple months ago. It's like, man, I do miss OVAs because that was like the best stuff when it came to anime, like Tenchi Muyo and shit. And then I see, Gundam The Origin is an OVA series, and it's done like in a way like the classic OVAs that we used to grow up.
Okay.
Well, there's a fuck ton of CG. They use CG on the battleships and mech designs, which I didn't mind. It actually looks great. But the art style looks very old school despite being computerized. Like the character designs are drawn like in classic 70s, 80s style. So I like that a lot.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool. Okay, Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt. That's an OVA. Iron-Blooded Orphans, which I need to watch.
Same. I need to keep watching. I'm only 2 episodes in right now.
Gundam Build Fighters Battle Log.
Those are like little mini movies.
It says it's an OVA.
Yeah, they're like little 10-minute OVAs though. Like when you bought New Gundam Breaker, you actually got the first episode of Battle Log for free.
Nice.
But you can watch those on YouTube as well.
Gundam Build Fighters GM's Counterattack.
That was the OVA epilogue special to the first season. It's great.
All right, and then we finally have last series is Gundam Build Divers.
Like I said, Gundam Build Fighters, but in an MMO world.
We need to address this. Hold on. You and I need to address something real quick, and it's not just Gundam related. one trend I've noticed in anime, and mind you, the first time I saw this was with Dot Hack back in the day. But Dot Hack was kind of unique back in the day. Now, ever since, like, I guess Sword Art Online, which my kid loves. My kid watched all of Sword Art Online. I couldn't get into it. But what is up with this new anime trend of, or manga trend, I should say, of people being trapped in MMOs?
It's because of Sword Art Online, I believe. That's a trend. It's the isekai genre. It doesn't have to be an MMO world. But it's basically characters getting sent from the real world to a new fantasy world. And it's mostly either a fantasy world, the MMO world, or a fantasy world that's based off of the MMO world that uses MMO.
Jesus Christ.
And yes, I agree with you, Magus. There are a fuck ton of these damn shows that have been coming out this decade. And I'm getting tired of it. I mean, there's a couple I like. Konosuba, and I need to finish ReZero. But yeah, it's way too much. It's a genre I really don't care much for because I'm not an MMO guy, and I watch some fantasy shows like Slayers and stuff.
Right.
But my heart is always in the future with cool robots and technology and shit. That's why I'm mostly a sci-fi guy.
But yeah,
like the previous decade and some of it this decade, it was jumping on the Harry Potter bandwagon, which was the school for like wizards and shit. There was a lot of those.
Oh, what? Okay.
Yeah, shows like Mabarajo, which is total garbage. But then there's
Mabarajo. I remember that one. That was a piece of shit.
Yeah. And then there was Negima, which the anime sucks, but I love the manga series. I fucking love it.
I gotcha.
And then I believe I don't know what happened. What was the trend mostly in the 90s? It was like mostly a mixed bag, but I know like in the 80s and most of the mid 90s, it was definitely still sci-fi because people were high off of Star Wars.
And anime was good. Anime was good for me at least till about maybe the mid 2000s.
Yeah, that's what my wiki page says too. I feel almost the same way.
Oh yeah, I forgot we both have wiki pages, not on Wikipedia, but on the YouTube Wikipedia.
Let's see. But apparently a new Gundam series is going to be announced sometime in November 21st.
Oh. Well, let's see what that's all about.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Mobile Suit Gundam's 40th anniversary project. Yeah, the series is almost 40 years old, by the way.
Oh, fuck.
Live streaming will start from 1300 November 21st. I don't know if it's Japan time or our time. Probably Japan time. But I know there's a new Gundam film that's out called Gundam Narrative or Gundam NT. And I want to say it's a sequel to Unicorn because I saw the trailer. One of the characters from Unicorn shows up, and the art style and all that stuff matches up with Unicorn. I believe it's in Japanese theaters or was airing. When it comes out, I'll give it a shot because I did sit through Unicorn and I still enjoyed the hell out of it.
Well, I think I said everything I had to about Gundam.
Yeah, I think I've said what I needed to say too.
But I can tell you this though. Since I've come back and you and I have been talking a lot again, this is not the last of our collabs.
No, it's not.
We're gonna do probably on your channel. I think we'll do more of the panel stuff. On mine, we're gonna do what?
Magus versus Darkscream, where we play games against each other, or maybe we can find some co-op games we can work together on.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I mean, I'm down for playing Divinity Original Sin 2.
Oh yeah, did you get it?
Not yet, but I will. But the thing is, oh god, this year is crazy for video games. I've never been excited for a Smash Bros. Game in a long ass time. Smash Ultimate looks like it's the best thing ever to me, though.
Smash Ultimate, it will be a good time.
Oh, yeah. But I believe that's all I got for this stream. But like I said, yeah, I want to review Gundam The Origin. I forgot to mention, yeah, I also got into the hobby of building model kits of Gundam too. So, I've built my first one was, and I know you're gonna hate this, but when I was a kid, I did pick up a Gunpla of the Wing Gundam from Gundam Wing.
See, the Gundams aren't bad. It's just the series, though.
Yeah, it's just a series, but the mech designs were still pretty good. And
Yeah,
Wing Gundams
Death
is
Scythe is
good.
a badass design.
Yeah. But I remember putting that together like years ago, but I really didn't do much with that. But then down the line, my friend showed me this awesome Gundam design called Crossbone. And I picked up the Gunpla for Crossbone Full Cloth, which is like it has like a metal shielding in the front, so it makes it look like a cape. And it took when I assembled that thing, it took me like 8 hours. I had to like get the right tools. I had to get me a Ziploc bag to put all its fucking weapons, which has a fuck ton of weapons, by the way. It's got like this big old crossbow cannon. It's got a fucking 2 beam sabers, a beam cutlass, a fucking blaster pistol that you can combine with the beam cutlass to turn into a blaster rifle. It's got fucking laser stiletto heel daggers. It was nuts.
Jesus Christ.
And then afterwards, I've assembled the Noble Gundam from G Gundam. That's the Gundam in the sailor suit that belonged to Neo Sweden for some reason, piloted by one Allenby Beardsley. Why did Sweden get a Japanese style? Okay. Anyways. And I've also assembled from Gundam Build Divers the RX-0 Maru, which is basically the Unicorn Gundam, but in SD form, the super deformed form. And it looks like a ninja, but here's the fun part. You can actually you can disassemble it, reassemble it with the parts of its little sidekick bird thing, and actually turn it into a real Gundam. So it goes from SD to normal. Yeah, and I thought that was really freaking cool. And
that is pretty cool.
And the one that's next on my checklist is Master Gundam from G Gundam. And not only does it come with Master Gundam, it comes with the Gundam horse Funsaiki. You know how he used to ride a horse, which is piloted by a real horse, by the way?
Yeah.
That's going to take me forever because it's like 2 different things I need to put together. And then maybe when I get better at it, I'll do something master perfect grade, and I may actually have to paint and do all the other crazy shit with it.
Darkscream, we learned a valuable lesson.
Okay, what valuable lesson is that?
That when a franchise gets fucked up, i.e. Star Wars, you can go out and find a new franchise to love, like Gundam.
That's the message I was trying to get across. I mean, you don't have to give up on everything sci-fi just because one sci-fi series is out. You don't have to give up on everything gaming just because one company decided to be a bunch of bitch asses about things lately. But yeah, that's how I go. It's like, well, this sucks. Let's see if I can find something else that'll hold my interest. And this holds my interest big time.
True that. Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said, that's all I got to say. You can check out Magus's channel at Magus X1. He will be doing some streams. He'll be teaming up with Xander on his new podcast series called Blast Podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be an interesting, fresh new start for you. I hope you actually stick with it this time.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like a real reboot this time because all the old videos are gone. So.
This is like what, the 5th time? How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I know. But I even say, I'm not gonna like guarantee a video all the time. I admit that. So,
all right.
But I'll make some, and you and I can do our, where we fight each other on Tekken 7. Which, if that video, our first collab actually was about earlier this week, which is the first Magus versus Darkscream, and we played some Tekken 7. We had some good fights.
Yeah, but I got my ass kicked 90% of the time.
No. If you watch the video, that's contrary.
True. But if you watch it, I only won one match.
No, are you thinking about the last match we had? Where we
the second, the third to last match.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the only time I won. The other times I didn't know what I was doing because I haven't played that game in over a year.
And then remember, I set the room to non-private. Yeah. Some guy came in and beat us all.
Yeah.
He was even countering my parries, that motherfucker. Anyway, I digress. I'm done.
Anyways, yeah, that's all we got. With that, this is Darkscream signing out.
With that, guys, Magus out.
Sieg Zeon.